I was telling you earlier, my wife come to see me. And this is a song she's part of. I come from Portland, Oregon. I think I've told you that a million times probably, but that's where I come from. It's pretty rainy out there. If you've never been out there, very green, very rainy. A lot of, you can drive like a half hour from Portland. You can ski in the snow, or you can drive a half hour and from Portland, an hour, I should say, be on the beach. And I'm always bragging about where I'm from to my wife. She's from New York City. She grew up in Manhattan. Anyway, I went one time about 3 years ago. We saved up some money for our vacation, and me and my wife decided to go to see my mom, who lives just below Coos Bay, Oregon, on the coast in this town called Port Orford, Oregon. And if you want to go to Port Orford, Oregon by car, you got to drive through a town called Tillamook, and you got to go through a place called Tillamook County. So me and my wife, we rented a car and we started driving down to see my mom on vacation. And on one of the days of my vacation, I had a lot of time to think about things. And I came up with, this is my vacation song. I'm sitting there waiting in the Tillamook County jail, hoping that she's not so bad now that she doesn't even pay my bail. If I was her, I'm not so sure I wouldn't keep on moving down the trail. I'm sitting here waiting in the Tillamook County jail. Got a lump on my head and a boot print on my chest from what these guys in here call the Tillamook County lie detector test. Well, I did my best, but as you might have guessed, it is a tough test not to fail. I'm sitting here waiting in the Tillamook County jail. One phone call to Tylenol, 4 cold gray walls closing in. If I ever do get out on that highway again, I ain't never going back to Tillamook County. It all started when I had a little trouble with this guy on the highway crew. And that lying son of a gun, he told him I done some things that I didn't do. They came running for me down 101, lights flashing on my trail. Sitting here waiting in the Tillamook County jail. One phone call to Tylenol, 4 cold gray walls closing in. If I ever do get out on that highway again, I ain't never going back to Tillamook County. Never going back to Tillamook County. Sitting there waiting in the Tillamook County jail, still hoping that she's not so mad now that she doesn't even pay my bail. If I was her, I'm not so sure I wouldn't keep on moving down the trail. Sitting here waiting in the Tillamook County jail. But come down on vacation, gonna leave on probation, have to send all my money through the mail. Send all my money to Tillamook. I'll probably have to send at least half of tonight's money to Tillamook County jail. That's a true story. Unfortunately, almost everything I'm telling you tonight is true. I went down to Tillamook County with my wife on vacation, and it turned into a big fiasco. And then it turned into this deal where I had to do 20 hours of community service. Then I fucked it up, and they said they wanted 40 hours of community service, which is twice the community service. It was a miscommunication. They said they wanted me to teach kids about drugs. I should have been more specific. I was showing him how to make a bong out of an apple. One of these days, I'm gonna fucking learn Freebird, and some guy's gonna yell for it, and I'm gonna go, yeah? And then you'll be fucking sorry. You know? If I leave here tomorrow, how sorry would you be? Like, oh, shit, now he's gonna play it. Jesus. What was I gonna do? This song has two. I don't know if are you still up for. Is it okay if I still tell you some stories? Because sometimes I like to try to think of the crowd as like surfing, and if you don't want to hear me talk, then I just want to sing the songs that you want to hear. You know what I mean? But I'm riding you guys, okay? So you let me know what kind of show you want, and by God, This song has actually two stories to it because I came up with the words at one part, and then all the stories are mostly just how I come up with the songs. I don't have any funny stories about people I met at Walmart or nothing. It's just always, this rhymed with that, and so here I am, So this particular one, I had just gotten a record contract, which I'd always wanted to get, and pretty excited about it. And I was supposed to drive from Memphis up to Nashville to work on the record, but it snowed up there. And it was snowing, and I'm an Oregonian, so I'm not used to driving through the snow. You guys think the snow is like, what, you had a fucking problem with the snow? In fact, you guys are like, snow's nice. I don't know how you guys say so. I like to come up here because of the way you talk. The fucking snow's nice. What's your fucking problem? Mr. fucking TCL Grunge Rag Blues can't drive in the fucking snow. But I was trying to drive in the snow, I figured, what the fuck, I'll do it. I'm making an album, So everything's going fine, and then I hit this patch of ice, and I start to slide towards this entirely different car, than mine. And I knew, and how many of you have been in a car accident? Man, I have been in a lot of car accidents. So, those of you who have been in a car accident, you know that there's this brief little moment between realizing that you're going to get in a car accident and actually getting in the car accident. And it was in that brief moment that I come up with the words to the song. The melody and the music came 4 years later. I was touring with a band. We were coming down from Lake Tahoe to Reno, Nevada. And we had just played Tahoe, and we were going to play Reno. And I never forgot the words, because every time, if I make words, I remember them, And so I'd always remember the words. And then I remember the van had a trailer. It was a van, and there was a trailer behind the van. And behind the trailer and the van, me and my friend Will Kimbrough, who played guitar in the group, He and I had rented a car. We said, we're going to put our money together and rent a car. We had a joint about the size of my middle finger, and we had a Richard Thompson tape that we were going to wear out. So we got Richard Thompson cranked. We're blazing this J. It starts to snow like crazy, and like any dumb stoner would, I said to my friend Will, I said, God, Kimbrough, man, we've been like 4,000 miles together. We've been back and forth across this country like 6 times, not one wreck. And he turns to me and says, you had to bring that up, didn't you? I said, yeah. So everything seemed like it was going fine. And then we hit this patch of ice. And we started sliding towards this entirely different car that was not our own. And I remember, I will never forget, in those brief moments, you don't know what you're going to do in those brief moments. That's how those Vietnam guys, they learn a lot about each other. It's like, what are you going to do when this shit happens, right? So obviously, we're about to drive right into this truck. And you can see, not only can you feel in the car that we got this, like, we're going to hit this truck look, but the guy in the truck has a real serious, I'm going to hit these guys in this car look on his face, and we could see it, you know? And we all knew we were going to get in a wreck. And I've always thought this was the funniest part of the story, and it's my best friend I'm telling this on, but Will Kimbrough, he reaches down, he turns down the Richard Thompson. He says, I think we're about to wreck. I say, I think you're right. Wham! We hit this guy so hard. God, we just fucked his car up so bad. Our car was a rental car. What do I care? Right? And I don't do a lot of public service stuff because I'm not one of those singers that goes around and talks about politics because I was a stoner from like 20 to 35 and I don't know shit. I think there should be public nudity. I believe in the dawning of the age of Aquarius. My political opinions don't really amount much more to like than free beer on Tuesday at some place. But I remember this guy, and we collided with each other, and that we hit each other so hard that the airbags came out. Have you ever had the airbags come out? That's when you know you really fucked your car up. You know? But with the public service announcement I forgot to mention was, when you rent the car and they say, would you like the $18 insurance policy? Take that motherfucker. You can drive the car off a cliff and set it on fire, and then you just hand the key to the cop and go, well, I paid the $18. Right? So the cars collide, the airbags go out, it's a big event, we're all in the snow, and two public service announcements. Two things I want to get off my chest. It's not up to vote anyway, so who gives a shit? The airbag deal, where they make the airbags, I think they should rethink the color that they make them, because they make them white. So when the airbag hits you, you see white. That's what I said. The only other color I can think of that would be worse would be red. And so you're sitting there and you see the white and you think, okay, all right. Well, now you look for the light and you try to follow it. Maybe I'll see my uncle or some shit. You know, I watch cable. So as it turned out, we didn't have to do nothing but hand the keys to the cop. They didn't even search the car, which would have been good for them if they had. But we were all really nervous, and we were supposed to play in Reno, Nevada that night. And I remember we went to an Italian restaurant that afternoon, and we ordered wine in the middle of the day. We said, look, if anybody ever earned this, we did. So let's have a few glasses of wine. Show's not for 5 hours. Fuck it, though, right? So by the time we get to the show, I had told these guys the lyrics that I had come up with the first time I got in a car wreck. And they said, well, those sound pretty good, right? So I thought, well, that's encouragement enough. And we got down to the show in Reno, and I kept thinking about this car wreck I'd been in, and I wanted to sing the words. But there was no music. So I started going like this. Once I started, the band fell in. And I knew at that point couldn't really change nothing. Without some sort of practice that took place someplace where other people weren't. Which is why I expect all of you to forgive me for this song only having one chord in it. Because I was trying to lead the band through it. But we played it, we still play it just like this. Well, there's a truck turned over on the highway. There's flares burning out of the snow. I got freezing rain in the passing lane, and there's 45 miles to go. 45 miles, 45 miles. Good God, that's gonna take me all night. I should have known right away that something was wrong when I started thinking things was alright. Things are not alright. My old man's sick, my sister's going broke. They're closing down my favorite bar. I got a smoker's cough, and now to top it all off, I think I'm gonna wreck my car. I'm gonna wreck my car. They say life goes in stages like seasons. I say something about all of them sucks. It's as hard to be hot as it is to be cold. You're either out of control or you're stuck. You're either out of control or you're stuck. So take whatever road that you want to. Careful of the ice and the snow. I ain't got time to change my mind. I got 45 miles to go. 45 miles, 45 miles. Well, it's gonna take me all night. I should know right away that something wasn't wrong when I started thinking things was alright. Things are not 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 all. I got them out of it. Hit it all right. I play a lot of different towns, play a lot of different places. I go to Texas a lot. I go down there. Some of you guys have probably been down there a little bit. They have these festivals that they do in the summertime where they get all these bands. They get about 12 bands together, and they get about all these college drinking kids, and they get drunk, and there'll be about 12 bands, and everybody has a good time out in the sunshine. Sometimes they'll get the younger bands, sometimes they'll get the older bands. Sometimes they'll have festivals where they get a combination of the younger bands and the older bands. About last summer, I was invited to play a festival out there where I pulled up to the event, and I got up to the guy who had hired me, and he said, we got a bus for the older bands and for the younger bands. The one for the older bands is over there, the one for the younger bands is over there. I started walking over there, and the guy said, no, we got you scheduled over there. I said, hey. I've been on a long fucking time, boss. Back hurts. You want me to go over here? All right. I will fucking go over here. So I get on this bus, and I walk up on the bus, and I see all the young bands from Texas. They're sitting around. They got cell phones, Evian, drinking water. They got CMT on the television. They got the volume fucking up on it, on the cell phones. Got the Evian, not a guitar in the goddamn house. Oh, Lord of God Almighty and baby Jesus. Where am I gonna rest up for my gig? So I trump my back to the back of the bus. And then there's a band, I don't know if you ever heard of a band called Reckless Kelly? Yeah. Well, I liked them, and I got in the back of the bus, and they were there. I said, this is a lot more comfortable for me. And I said, I'll sit back here. And there was also back there with one of my favorite bands in the world. Is that Cross Canadian Ragweed? And they were back there too. They were the oldest of the youngest guys on this bus. So I said, okay, this is where we're gonna sit. And for a while, it seemed like everything was going okay. And then that Cross Canadian Ragweed, it was their turn to play. And the guy said, okay, Ragweed, you're on. And the leader of the band stood up. He said, okay, everybody, let's pray. And I thought, oh, God almighty. And this is not because I don't like to pray, because I do like to pray. I pray all the time. I prayed today a few times. In fact, when the guy stood up and said, let's pray, I prayed privately on the side to myself that we wouldn't have to pray in a circle holding hands. And it didn't work out. It didn't work out for me. We prayed in a circle and we held hands. And then I went back on the bus, and just as I was sitting down, the bus door opens, and do you remember a singer? You'll remember. Do you know a singer called Steve Forbert? Meet me in the middle of the day. Let me hear you say everything's okay. So he comes up on the bus, and he turns the corner, and he goes, oh, wrong bus. And he starts to go back, and I said, Steve, take me with you. And he said, I'm not going to be responsible for you. I don't hardly even know you, you know. Oh, you know, what is this, Seattle grunge rock? Fuck you. I'm going over there. But I followed him over, and I went up into the bus, and I turned the corner, and the television's broken. There's dogs on the floor. They're drinking wine out of a bottle that they're passing around. Imagine, of all things, they have their guitars out and they're playing songs for each other. And I said, for the love of God, you guys have to let me stay up here. And there was some of the guys from Jerry Jeff's band were up there. Keith Sykes was up there. Steve Fromholtz was up there. Billy Joe Shaver was up there. And Billy Joe Shaver goes, you haven't even had a bypass yet. And I said, my doctor says that I'm gonna have one soon. And he said, so it came around, they said, somebody handed me a guitar. And they said, if you can play a song that we like, you could stay up here. And lucky for me, I had a song with almost all of their names in it. I got a dusty old pile of vinyl records sitting on my floor. I played each one of them over and over, at least a dozen times or more. All I got is a beat-up chair, a mattress, a fork, another to spare, and that dusty old pile of records on my floor. I got Willie Whalen and Woody Guthrie, Jimmy Buffett, I love it, and Bobby Gentry, Jerry Jeff, Bob Dylan, Donnie Fritz, Dad and the Doors, Patsy Cline, John Prine, and more. I got Jackson Brown, Towns, Van Sant, Leonard Skinner, Harry Chapin, Guy Clark, Van Halen, Rita, Chris, Keith Sykes, Country Joe when he was singing with the fish, you know. I got Henry Louis too, and Arlo, James Taylor, Jimmy Rogers, Hank Williams, Mojo Nixon, Hendrix Haggard, and a whole lot more. In that dusty old pile of vinyl records sitting on my floor. One time in San Francisco, I was standing in the airport line. In one bag I had all of my clothes, and the other was all them old records of mine. Well, the lady said I could only bring one bag, and I had to. Lord, what a drag. I had to jump on the plane, leave all my clothes behind. I got a Willie Whalen and Woody Guthrie, Jimmy Buffett, I love it, and Bobby Gentry, Jerry Jeff, Bob Dylan, Donnie Fritz, and Dad and the Doors, Patsy Cline, John Prine, and more. I got Jackson Brown, Towns, Van Sant, Leonard Skinner, Harry Chapin, Guy Clark, Van Halen, Rita, Chris, Keith Sykes, Country Joe, and he was singing with the fish, you know. I got me love you too. And all of James Taylor, Jimmy Rogers, Hank Williams, Mojo Nixon, Hendrix Haggard, and a whole lot more. I got all the Booker T's, Tom T. Halls, Bobby Bear, Belafonte, and the New York Dolls, Billy Joe, Jimmy Croce, Kiss Cross, Stills and Nash, John June, and Roseanne Cash. I got a Forbert Farm, old Sam and Dave, T-Bert, Yardbird, Stevie Ray, and if you want 10 or 12 people by my third album, you might have figured out already. And I got five, Tom Petty, and that dusty old stack of vinyl records sitting on my floor. Hey, come on, man. Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like I'm rattling off some pretty decent shit. No, you know what, though? Hey, it's early in the night, and I am gonna do whatever you guys want. There'll be a point where we're just like, you yell it, I'll play it, that'll be great. Not yet, though, right? Okay? Because first I gotta get through the shit that I like, you know? Like, when you're a singer on the road, that's a lot of what you go through, you know, like I'll do double wide for sure, but I got all this bullshit I'm doing that's new, it's sensitive or whatever. Some shit I gotta get off my chest. I'll lay that on you. We'll do beer run 9 times. We'll get out of here. You ever remember when I used to come up here? I used to come up to this place down. What's that thing? There's like a river down there with an amphitheater, and what do they call that little section? The Flats. Right. There was a bar down there in the Flats the first time. Listen, I wanted to tell you something because I was talking about earlier. I came here. I used to come here and we'd do that one little part of town. I can't remember the name of that bar, but we'd come. I had a band. They're called the Nervous Wrecks. Did any of y'all ever get to go? See, we were pretty good. I thought we practiced a lot, and people seemed like they enjoyed our shows, and we enjoyed them too. We did pretty good, and we came up here and we played a few times. It was the only band that I was ever a singer in. I like to play alone, but it's also fun to be in a band sometimes with a bunch of other different people traveling around. And no, let me change that. I want to do a different thing. That's not true I was the lead singer of a different band one time, but it was just for a brief second, and it was just really like one of them classic show business, being in the right place at the right time situations. That's the story I'm going to tell you. Okay. I was the rhythm guitar player in this band called KK Ryder, and I got to be the lead singer, which was a classic show business, right place at the right time story, and I'm going to tell it to you now. I was playing in Memphis 4 or 5 nights a week to make the way that I lived, and a record company came to one of my shows and said, how about if you make an album for us, and we'll give you a certain amount of money? And I thought, well, you guys seem interesting. And they said, here, and I thought, whoa, this could be good. And so I signed the deal, and they said, what we want you to do, though, is don't play Memphis, because we want you to take 6 months off from Memphis, make a record, and then go back to town and do a big show. Fine, fucking great. But here's my question. Here's my question to you, Mr. Record Company guy. How am I going to eat between now and the record coming out? And he said, we have big plans for you to be very popular. But that was 6 or 7 months away, and it never really even panned out. But I still thought, you haven't answered my question about these 6 or 7 months where there's going to have to for sure be some top ramen involved, or when we put out the record, I won't be here. And they said, but you're going to be huge. And I said, what if I join a band where it's not me? And they said, you can do that. So I joined this band. I saw an ad in the paper for a band. There was a country band. They played the country hits of the day, and they needed a rhythm guitar player. So I went and I got the job as the rhythm guitar for this band called KK Ryder. And KK wasn't his name. I don't remember what his name was, but we all called him KK Ryder. I don't even know why he called his fucking band that. It was a country cover band. They'd be like, I'm shameless, shameless as a man. I would play rhythm guitar. That's how I made my living, you know. And so I got in KK Ryder, and we were playing this pool hall one night And here, like, I'm just going to tell you, this is the shtick of the pool hall. We're playing, and they have a, like, say if we were here, but the roof was 10 feet tall and very low ceiling. And they had a rope swing hanging down right in the middle, pointing towards the band. So if you were on the swing, you'd come towards the band and away from the band. And there was these little bells on the roof. Say if it was here, this roof would be down a lot lower, like where somebody could get just right above you, just barely above you, and swing gently forward and tap this bell that was attached to the roof, and loft gently backwards and tap this other bell that was also attached to the roof. And when one of the chicks did that, that meant it was half-price drinks until some other chick did that, right? And we would play, and we would do. This would go on through the course of the night. Now, so remember, visually, I'm not the lead singer. I was the rhythm guitar player, so I was over there and watching the girls at Signify drink specials. So when that would happen, it was free drinks for me too. So I would watch, and KK Ryder would be singing with his eyes closed. He had this jacket with tassels on it, you know. And we'd be singing. I remember this particular night, the night that fate intervened, man, and I got to be the leader of the band. That night, he had his tassels hanging, his eyes closed, and we were singing all these country hits of the day, and we were in the middle of a song from the 70s, remember? Like, don't make you want to dance, don't make you want to smile, when you're down, down, down in the country picking, sing a while. Remember that, some of you? No, so we were playing that, don't make, so all I got to do is this, and I'm to the side. And the girl gets up on the swing and she lofts gently forward and she lofts gently backwards and she taps the thing and it's half-price drinks. And I'm on rhythm guitar. KK Ryder's got his eyes closed, his tassels are swinging, he's singing the hits of the day. We're singing Don't It Make You Wanna Dance. Girl gets up, hits the bell, gently lofts back, hits the other bell, half-price drinks, everybody's having a good time. Seconds later, a woman that was clearly sitting at a table and not working for the event, with her sleeves cut off of her 38 Special t-shirt, she gets up on top of her chair and she jumps on the swing. And she starts going back and forth on the swing. And I'm thinking to myself, from over here, she doesn't work here, and she has no control of the drink specials whatsoever. But she's on this fucking swing. And doing cat calls and all the stuff we do in the South. Great shit. 38 Special shirt. Yeah! Swinging gently back and forth. The crowd's loving it. The bartender, who is also the owner of the bar, comes flying out from behind the bar for insurance purposes and screams, "You cannot be up there on that swing." Her boyfriend now, different tour, 38 Special shirt though, sleeves cut off, he jumps up, he's paid a cover, right? What the fuck? Well, my girl's on the swing. If you could tell by the cat calls, then the whoos that she's doing, that she's having fun, and we paid $8 to get in here, and fuck you, you got a swing, and my woman is on it. Fuck you. And so this guy's like, but I carry the insurance, right? And as you start to make points as a man, am I mistaken? That your chest will come out a little bit. You're like, hey, that's bullshit. No, really, that's bullshit. I'm serious. And you start coming further out from the top of your body physically towards the other guy, right? And I'm like, God damn. It's like I'm watching the Animal Channel, you know? And so these guys are pressing their chests out. They don't even have big weightlifting chests or whatever. They have bellies, you know, but they're trying to get their chests out as far as they can, and they're hitting them into each other. And this drunk-ass bitch is swinging for her life, man, having the time of her fucking life. And I'll tell you this, and it's not like I'm trying to pass on information to you guys. I don't come to town and say, like, I know some stuff, I know a few chords, I know some stuff. Really, I never say, like, what about the children, or enjoy your life, or any of that. I mean, I might say enjoy yourself, but I never say, like, do this and then you'll be happy. I never think that because I know a couple chords that I might have some information to fucking pass on. It's almost an embarrassment to the folk singing community. While we do sing about wolves and trees and somehow that ties together into your children, it's an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment. And I don't claim to be part of any of that fucking shit. None of it. What I do know, though, what I do know that I can pass on to you right now, if you're outside in a park on a swing and you're outdoors and the sky is the limit, kicking your legs back and forth to go faster is fucking fine. And I'm not trying to preach to you, but if you're indoors and there's a ceiling, there's a maximum, kicking your legs back and forth on a swing might hurt you in a physical way. And this woman was kicking her legs back and forth and going faster and fucking faster, and her cat calls were getting muted, more muted. Woo, woo, woo. She's hitting the bell with her head. She's hitting her head on the bell. She's hitting her knees on the bell. She's going back and forth, clearly hurting herself. These two guys aren't even paying attention. I'm paying attention. I'm enjoying the fuck out of it. I'm like telling the drummer, this chick's gonna die, and these two guys are gonna fight. This is the best gig we've ever had. But it didn't happen like that because her boyfriend, romantically and yet stupidly, turned and saw my girl is hurting herself. She's hitting her head on the ceiling and then her knees on the ceiling and then her head. And I think he thought I should do something, which is what I would have thought. Then he did the dumbest fucking thing he had done the whole night. And we were playing, don't it make you want to dance? Don't it make you want to smile? And literally, unless he did something dumber after he left the club, this was the dumbest fucking thing he did all night. He turned around, he said, my woman is hurting herself. He grabbed the rope to stop her, right? Right, some of you already know what happened. She starts coming towards us. And I'm playing rhythm guitar over here. KK Ryder's got his eyes closed and his tassels swinging. Don't make you want to dance. I'm like this. She comes across the bar, hits between the monitors and the microphone, lands. The microphone goes down and back up like James Brown, comes back up, hits KK Ryder right in the fucking chips. He goes down. She goes down. She, I'm pretty sure, was unconscious when she came towards us. But she was for sure unconscious when she landed. And she laid this way across the microphone. And when KK Ryder fell, he fell this way. And he was unconscious. And they formed a T, the microphone. Wham! And she landed here, and he landed here, and they formed like a T. And I was over here. And I know the words to this one. And I looked at the rest of the band, It was one of them classic show business cases of being in the right place at the right time. Don't it make you want to dance? Don't it make you want to smile? When you're down, down, down in the country picking sing a while. Well, I've been gone for so long. It feels good to get back home. Back to my friends and all the faces I won't see. like a rainbow in the sky. A certain twinkle in everybody's eye, telling me they believe in what I am and what I want to be. Don't it make you want to dance? Don't it make you want to smile? When you're down, down, down in the country, when you're down, down, down in the country, when you're down, down, down in the country, Lord God Almighty, step over your buddy and pick and sing a while. I appreciate y'all coming out to see me. It's nice to see so many. I think I might even know a few of you. I'll tell you this, brothers and sisters. I'll tell you this from the bottom of my heart. I'll never lie about this, and I say this every night. Doesn't matter if there's 2 people, 5 people, whether I drove an hour, 7 hours, whether they give me a lot of money or very little money, whether I'm doing it for free. One time I did it for a haircut, and I want to know this? I fucking love this shit. I love it. I can't get enough of it. I like to travel around. I like to look at you. I can hardly see you. There's a light. There's shadows. And I feel very comfortable. And I can still remember the first time that I thought, well, that's what I'll do. Because my dad wanted me to do one of those construction jobs where guys did drywall and then I cleaned all that shit up after them. And I didn't think that sounded good. It seemed like all those guys was killing themselves, you know. I thought I might as well be a musician. They kill themselves too, you know. So I started coming up with these songs a long time ago, and I can't tell you how thankful I am that you've come down to listen to them. The first time that I ever did it, was at this restaurant called Peppers at the Falls, and I was a busboy, and I had learned. There you go, yeah. It was called Peppers at the Falls, and I was the busboy there, and I wrote a song about eating food that people didn't finish. Hey, I think it's clever. And they let me play that in the bar, and then I just kept making up songs, and eventually they didn't want me to bust tables anymore. They just want me to sing, and I was about like 19, it seems like, at that time. And I remember I was always sitting in with some other band, you know, and one time one of these bands, they said, you know, they have these things called open mic for guys like you know. You use your own guitar, the whole deal. So I went over to this place called the Cheatham Street Warehouse in San Marcos, Texas, right? Owned by a guy named Kent Finley, who's still alive, older guy, and I don't know how many more years we're going to have him, but he's a real songwriter's friend. And so I went in there and I had a couple of songs. I had a song about my dad. I had a song about eating people's food that they didn't finish. And they had just changed the drinking age from 19 to 21, and I was pretty angry about that. And so I had sort of a protest song. And you were only allowed to sing 3 songs, and they had to be your own songs. That was the rule. Hang on. I'm trying to keep my throat clear here. So I thought, fine, 3 songs, that's how many I got. Sign my name, there's a list. You sign the name on the list. So I signed my name on the list. And I remember, like you'd do too, right? If you were on a list, you'd look at the name in front of yours because you want to listen for that. That means you're next. So the guy before me, his name was Aaron Allen. I'll never forget it. Aaron Allen. It's like, after they say Aaron Allen, that means it's time for you to tune your shit up and go up there and do your stuff. So Aaron Allen gets up there, right? And he sings this one song, and it seems like it's okay, and everybody's excited. Then the next song he sings is a Willie Nelson song. And I thought, this is bullshit, you know? This is bullshit. I saw the sign. The sign outside is as big as day, you know? So I walked over to the bartender. I said, listen, lady, you know, they said that we were going to come down here and we sing our own songs. That's what I came down here for. We're going to all sing our own songs. She said, yeah. I said, that song I've heard on a Willie Nelson album. And she said, yeah. I said, are you telling me that this old guy up here, mate, he's the one that come up with this song? And she said, yeah. And I said, is there any way I can get like further down the list? A little bit. Maybe let some other young people play and then I'll play my stuff. And so I remember the whole time I was up there, she said, no, you're on the list, you play when you play. So he plays a Willie fucking Nelson song. Everybody goes nuts, and then they invite me up, right? I'm 18 years old. So I go up and I play my songs. The whole time, though, I'm thinking, Aaron Allen, Aaron Allen, Aaron Allen. Guy knows Willie Nelson. He's probably smoked pot with Willie Nelson. What difference does it make what I'm playing? That guy over there smoked pot with Willie Nelson. So as soon as it was over, as soon as my set was over, I walked right up to this guy. I said, Aaron Allen, my name's Todd Snider. I know I'm a lot younger than you, and I know you're a songwriter, and you probably had all your songs cut by a lot of other people or whatever, but I want to do whatever this is, this thing where you're doing where you you live through your life, and if somebody bums you out, you make it rhyme, and then somehow you get paid, and you don't work at all. You know? Especially the sleeping in part. You got to explain this to me. And he said, he gave me a piece of advice, and I'm going to pass it on. You might want to be a songwriter. And I think this is a good piece of advice. He said to me, if you want to be a songwriter and you always want to be getting better at writing songs, I don't know if this is true, this is just what I heard. He said, if you always want to be getting better at writing songs, you got to keep your life in a situation where you can take every single thing that you own in the whole world, pack it into one bag inside of 20 minutes, and be out of where you are. And, even more importantly, you got to keep your life in situations where shit like that happens every once in a while. He said, if you do that, you will always be getting better at writing songs. And I don't know if that's true or not, but I bought it. And it has taken me a lot of discipline over these last 15 years to keep my life as fucked up as it is. From Portland, Oregon. I tell you a lot. I'm proud of where I come from. I haven't lived there in forever, but I like going back there a lot. We're real famous for our roses and our cheese and the trailblazers, and we're kind of hippies and very tree-hugging part of the country. Bill Walton used to live there, like he was a jock, but he hung out with the dead. And I was just thinking as I was playing that song, you had asked me if I would tell a story, and I thought of this one where I was thinking of my hometown. I come from Multnomah County, which is Portland, Oregon, and I go there now once a year on the road. And it's been a long time now. It's been since that New Connection album that we made. We went down on the record before that. We went on the tour, and I had this tour manager named Spike, and I couldn't figure out if Spike was a girl or a guy. And it didn't make a difference to me, man. I mean, I just wanted to do the shows. But that's a different story, but we started driving into Portland, Oregon, and there's this part of the town where it's really, I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's really pretty. And there's a part of town where you come down through the mountain and you go into this thing called the Multnomah County Tunnel. And I grew up right down there. And when I was a kid, if you were a senior in high school, one of the traditions that you did in all the schools in the areas, you would go down to this Multnomah County Tunnel and you would write, your name in there, and you might add that you rule, or you would put your class, ours was class of 85, we would put that in there. And you didn't have to, it wasn't graffiti, it wasn't like vandalism, because you didn't have to paint it. It was, because it's a tunnel, so there's all that exhaust shit in there, so you can, if you take a shirt or something, you can clean your name into the side of this thing. So it's not really like you're breaking the law, but it's fairly dangerous, you know. So as we're coming in through this tunnel, I'm telling Spike about this and saying, man, when I was a kid, we used to put our names in these tunnels. And then we went down and we did the show. And after the show, there was a bunch of guys I grew up with that wanted to go out. So I thought, let's do that. So we went out to this place and I said, let's go do what you guys do. And we went to this karaoke fucking thing. And I did Sweet Child O' Mine. I thought I did it all right. Then I had Spike with me, so it didn't matter how much I drank because I knew that somebody was going to get me home. And so I woke up in my hotel room the next day, and I thought, well, I wonder what happened for the last couple hours of that. Then we started driving toward California, and we were going back through this tunnel, right? But to do it, and as we came through the tunnel, I saw it said, Todd Snider rules. Right? And I said, hey, Spike, seriously, tell me that I didn't do that. I mean, I know I did that, but tell me that I didn't do that. You're on the clock. And she said, you don't remember doing that? Turned out it was a chick. Said, you don't remember doing that? And I said, no, for starters, no, I don't. But let's talk about why you're out here. This is why you're out here. You think I give a fuck if I'm in tune? I was hoping that you could protect me from this kind of event right here. And what I'm saying, as a tour manager, none of this should have happened. But as a friend, the rules part, you couldn't have said, don't put rules up there? Did we mean nothing to each other? We've been driving around all fucking summer. I got nothing. So we go down through California, and I'm like humiliated. You know, you guys have all done that. I'm not drinking no more. Till happy hour. But nevertheless, I was driving down to California, had the window open, the radio on, and I was feeling nostalgic for my hometown. I was remembering the night before, and I come up with this song. And then about 4 months later, I was back in Nashville, and a friend of mine from Portland called me up, and she said, how did your show in town go? I said, I don't know, it seemed like it went pretty good. She said, it must have gone pretty damn good, because one of your fans went down in there in the Multnomah County Tunnel and wrote that you ruled. Names in the tunnel back when Coos Bay was as far away as we'd ever been. Pine trees climbing up winding hills, fishing boats and paper mills. Multnomah County's where I come from, hometown of Bigfoot and the Burnside Bump. Rain cloud hanging so low and gray, God knows I wish it would have rained today. Tonight I've got those old Rose City blues. Tonight I got those old Rose City blues. Tonight we're driving through some other town, got the radio on, windows down. Old song comes on from a long time ago. How on earth did that DJ know? But tonight I've got those old Rose City blues. But tonight I got those old Rose City blues. our names in the tunnel back then. Then last night we went down and did it again. One sip too many from that old loving cup. Rose City people never do grow up. But tonight I've got those old Rose City blues. But tonight I got those old Rose City blues. You having a good time so far? I'm having a lot of fun too. I want to remind you to tip your bartender on your way out of here. I hope you're having fun. I want to try. I appreciate you being so patient with me on this new stuff. I promise you I'll play all the shit you want to hear before you go. I gotta learn this shit, right? Or at least I'd like to, you know. I want to warn some of you too. I don't mean for it to get this way, but sometimes some of the songs will get a little opinionated, you know. And I just want to tell you right now, but you know, I've probably already done it a little bit, but I want to tell you before I go any further that I don't tell you my opinions because they're wise. I tell you them because they rhyme, and I don't share them with you. I'm telling you, I don't share them with you to change your mind. I share them with you to ease mine maybe a little bit, and it does. So thanks for letting me do it. And boy, if you get your mind changed though, that's your fault. I'm gonna do this song's kind of new, and it takes me back to when I lived in this town called San Marcos, Texas, with my brother, and we worked in this restaurant. And we lived right down about a mile from the college. We didn't go there or nothing, but we hung out with the rugby players that did, because they would have parties that they would let anybody go to. But there was never any chicks at those parties, so we would try to go to frat parties too sometimes. And then we soon found out that that was one of the easiest ways to get beat up in the world. Because a couple, they'll look at you, they'll stare at you till you make eye contact with them, and then they'll say, "What are you looking at?" And then you can say either you or nothing. It's happened to me enough times to know that both answers are wrong. Anyway, this song is not a true story for me. I sing it sort of in character. And I want to send it out to anybody that's going to have a party after this that any of us can go to if we want to. It's called A Tale of Two Fraternity Brothers. It's kind of a memoir. Like that guy on Oprah. Hey, you remember that kid we beat up back in college? Me, you, and Thompson out in front of the frat. And that hippie ran home crying to his parents. I can't believe you got us out of that. How sweet was that? God, we were drunk, drove around all night after with that keg in the trunk. And when the cop pulled us over, you talked us out of that too. You got away with it. You got away. You get away with the things that you say. I had to quit partying about a year and a half after you did. I don't regret it though. I think it was fun.
Besides, man, it was the 70s, and we were a couple of rich kids, and aside from that one hippie, we never really hurt anyone. Well, there's that other thing that I won't even say. As God is my witness, I'm gonna take that to my grave, 'cause that was an accident, and you did what you had to do. You got away with it. You got away. You get away with the things that you say. Free forever, never for you. You'll get away with it. You always do. Did tell me what happened with you and your brother down there in Florida. I heard they gave you a hell of a time. Everyone around here was afraid you might lose. I told them not to worry, 'cause I knew you'd be fine. You've had me out here to Camp David a few times over the years. I think the first time we were drinking cigarettes and beer. Look at you now, you old son of a bitch. You got the run of this place. Unbelievable. You got away with it. You got away. You get away with the things that you say. Worry forever, never for you. Got away with it. You always do. You'll get away with this new thing too. Statistics say that 51% of you didn't like that one. But I would like to add that for that 51%, that was strategically written for you to apply to one of the Kennedys if you want to.
I'm gonna play you one of my favorite songs, okay? It's a story song, you gotta stay with it. I live in Nashville, and Nashville's where you go if you wanna be if you don't want to have a different job than just this. You have to go to Nashville. And this is a song, I'm going to leave you with a couple songs, but this one's going to be kind of self-indulgent. It's my favorite one. Chris Christopherson wrote it. And I remember when I heard it when I was like 17 or 18, and I thought, okay, I'll work on songs, and if nobody likes them, that don't make a fuck to me. And so if there's any message that I could get out to anybody tonight, and I know that one of the silliest things in the universe is some jackass who plays bar to bar and then talks through the microphone like he knows shit just because they have a microphone. This hardly even costs very much. But I will say this to you, and you can take this advice from me if you want to. I'm not necessarily probably some successful person that you would want to take advice from. I still need to get the tags on my car fixed, you know, and they're kind of fucked up. Been to jail twice in the last year. 3 hospitals, a mental hospital, a drug. You think I'm making it up? 2 jails, 2 mental hospitals, 3 hospitals, a drug rehab hospital, and some great bars. Anyway, this is a song that pulls me through. This is a song that I sing sometimes when I wonder why the fuck do you drive 7 hours to sing? And more than anything, it's because of the way you guys treat me. So, thanks for that one. But if you are a singer and a songwriter and you do have any aspirations of doing it for a living, come down to Nashville. It's not as scary as everybody tries to make it sound. And everybody that tries to make it sound scary, they only try to make it sound scary because they don't want you to be competition against them. All you got to do is go down there. Anyway, here's a song Christopher's wrote. It was winter time in Nashville, down on Music City Row. And I was looking for a place, try to get myself out of the cold, to fight the frozen feeling that was eating at my soul. Maybe keep the chilly wind off my guitar. My thirsty wanted whiskey. My hungry wanted beans, but it had been at least a month's of payday since I had heard that eagle scream. So with a pocket full of nothing and a head full of dreams, I checked my pride and I walked inside a bar. I guess you could call it more of a tavern. Had cigarette smoke to the ceiling, sawdust on the floor. I could see there was just this one old guy sitting down there in the bar. And in the mirror, I could see him, and he was checking me out, and he was checking out my guitar. And he said, "Come here, boy. Why don't you show us all who you are?" I said, "I'm pretty dry." So he bought me a beer. He looked at my guitar. He said, "It's a rough life, isn't it?" I just looked at him. He said, "You ain't making any money, are you?" I said, "Shit, you've been reading my mail." He said, "Let me see that guitar, boy. I got something I think you should hear." And then he sang me these words. He said this: "If you waste your time talking to people who don't listen to the things that you're saying, who do you think's gonna hear? And if you should die explaining how the things that you complain about are things you might could be changing, who do you think's gonna care?" There were other lonely singers in a world turned deaf and blind, and they were crucified for the things they tried to show. But their voices have been scattered by the swirling winds of time, because the truth remains that no one wants to know. The truth remains that no one wants to know. Well, the old man, he was a stranger, but I'd heard his song before. Back when failure had me locked out on the wrong side of the door, and not one fucking person stood beside me except for my shadow on the floor. And some of you know that when that happens, that loneliness is more than just a state of mind. See, the devil haunts the hungry man, and if you don't want to beat him, you got to join him. I'm not saying I beat the devil. but I drank his beer for nothing. And then I stole his fucking song. And you still can hear me singing, even if people do not listen to the things that I am saying. I'm praying that someone's gonna hear, and I guess I'll die explaining how the things that I've been complaining about are things that I could be changing, hoping someone's gonna care. I was born a lonely singer, and I'm bound to die the same. 'Cause I've got to feed some hunger in my soul. And if I never have a nickel, I will never die ashamed, because I don't believe that no one wants to know. Seems like it's going pretty good. Do you like that, Christopherson song? Well, there was a time in my life when I used to put that on the old turntable back when they had records. They had these little speakers, and I would just stare at the speakers, and I would listen to it over and 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 over again. And I was living with this girl named Paige, and she thought that over and over again was plenty. Not here. So I remember I didn't really have no place to stay, so I was staying at Paige's house. And she was all right, you know, she was pretty, and she was nice, and she was just really hard to please. It's kind of a nag. It'd be like, you sit on the couch all day, you watch TV all day, you spend all our money on pot, you run up my credit cards, you wreck my car, you call my dad a fucking jerk off. All this stuff is like you couldn't please this chick, you know? You know what I mean? So finally one day some friends of mine called me up and they said, hey, we're going to have this guitar pull and we're going to all sit around and play some songs. I said, shit, I got to go. So I drove over to that, and when I got home, boy, Paige was standing in the door with a foot. You know how they do the foot? I said, what? She said, where you been? I said, I've been playing guitar with my friends. She said, do you know we're broke? I said, yes. Yes. I've known that since long before I met you. She said, we don't have any money. And then she said these words that it still chokes me up to say them. She looked me in the eye and she said, you should get a job. A job? Shit. She said, I'm not joking. You've got skills. You could do something that could bring some money in. And you know what else? We need money fast. She said, and I've been sitting around all morning thinking of a way we could make money fast. I said, how's that, baby? She said, you know that guitar you carry around everywhere? We could probably pawn that for about $150. And I stepped back and I thought for a second, because I like to think before I speak. I hardly ever do, but I like to. And I looked her in the eye and I said, baby. I said, baby, I can be out of here in 15 fucking minutes.
Like I don't pay my rent, pay my car, my mechanic, and I ain't seen it since. My phone's always ringing, and I won't be alone. They're trying to sell me everything from heaven to Cologne. Everybody's got an offer that I just can't refuse. It's a Surfside in London, baby's got the Sideshow Blues. Well, it's all a big commercial, it's the video of man. It's a plot to put into my attention span. They make up all these issues I never understood. If I thought I could change things, I'd run out to Hollywood. But it's so hard to kick the door down wearing $7 shoes. It's a circus out in mama, baby. Sideshow Blues. Look at them Sideshow Blues. I want to tame a lion. They centering rich kids. They're not even trying. From college to the big top, taking all of the best positions while I'm out in this tent with all these freaks and musicians. Down here at Martyrs with all y'all freaks and musicians, blowing them Sideshow Blues. Tell my girlfriend she's the only one that I've got. There's a girl that I hardly even know that keeps on telling her that she's not. She's got a loaded pistol. She waves it all the time. She says sometimes you have to kill a boy just to keep his ass in line. At least that's the way she sees it. She says she saw it on the news. It's a circus out here, mama. Baby's got them Sideshow Blues. People play satanic records, man, you don't know when they'll freak. From a quiet kid to a maniac to a movie of the week. We're killing over cocaine, dying over sex, bowing down and praying to whoever's gonna cut the checks. Now I go to church on Sunday and brother says, let me tell you something, I'm gonna help but sleep in the pew. It's a circus out here, mama. Baby's got a Sideshow Blues. Stay with me one time. It's a circus out here, mama. Baby's got a Sideshow Blues. All together one more time. It's a circus out here, mama. Baby's got a Sideshow Blues. One more time. Circus out here, mama. Your baby's got a Sideshow. Hey, I want to thank you for being so nice to me tonight, okay? Don't forget to tip your bartender. Be nice to each other. I'll see you next time. God bless you. Thank you so much.